Okay guys, what I got here is a 1988 Jeep Wrangler with a 4.2 liter 6-cylinder with a 2-barrel Carter carb on it. What I've done is I've done the Nutter bypass. The Nutter bypass, they say you got to be careful with it. They say only off-road vehicles, it won't pass emissions. I live in Florida. We don't have any kind of emission standards down here. If you live in a state where you don't have any emission standards, you don't need to worry about this. You got to worry about something like this maybe in New York, California, or anybody else that makes you plug into a computer to see what kind of exhaust you're putting out. Anyways, kind of ridiculous on a 25-year-old truck, but it is what it is. So the start out for the Nutter bypass is relatively simple. What you do is down here off of the distributor, you can see, or see if I can get it. There we go. There's a plug that goes in the distributor, and it has 3 wires coming out of it. It has orange, purple, and black. You want to cut the orange and the purple and leave the black alone. From there, what I did is I spliced into 2 brand new wires. I wanted to use orange and purple as well. Unfortunately, AutoZone only had the green and yellow, so I ended up using those. Got connectors on them. They've been soldered, and then they've been taped multiple times in different directions. Want to ensure that there's no arc or spark or anything like that coming from the distributor causing any problems. Then you'll see from there, I did the cheater method, and I just ran it up and across the wire housing on the top of the conduit and just zip tied it in place. In a month or so, I got some other work I need to do to it, and then I'll tuck everything away then. I'm just not going to do it right now. You want to twist the wire. Everything I've read, something with a twist actually helps the conductivity and the insulation factor of it. If you've never twisted wire, it's actually extremely simple. It's all you need to do is put the 2 ends of the wire in a vise or a C-clamp on your workbench, the other 2 ends in a electric drill, and just squeeze the trigger slowly and it'll twist up and nice and tight. Tape the ends, tape the center, just keep it all in place and you're good to go. Makes it real easy to handle, work with, and actually too, once it gets tucked away, it keeps it really neat. The wires then run all the way across here and down underneath the radiator bottle, and you can see where they're running down into there, into the ECM, the control module down there. The module comes out. There's a plug down there. What I did is I took the radiator bottle out. I had it all unbolted and just unbolted the module from the wheel well, pulled it up, made it so much easier to work on instead of trying to reach down there. But you want to use the purple and the orange wire down there as well. The wires, I've read posts where guys say they don't have those colored wires down there, they can't see them. Put some degreaser on your hand, go down there and just rub the wires, clean them up. You'll find the orange and the purple down there. Cut the wires before the connector, so from the module to the connector, and then tie into them there. Now any of the loose ends I covered up with 3M electrical goop and then taped them just to ensure that I didn't have any kind of spark or any kind of jumping issues. And that's that part of the first part of the bypass, which is actually very simple to do. You know, it seems a little daunting when you read about it, people telling you how to do it, and it's actually a very simple job. The whole start to finish time, really probably only about 45 minutes, but I say give yourself 2 hours. Just, take your time, do things right, tuck things away. You don't want to be sloppy with it. The next step, what you want to do is you want to remove the stepper motor right here. Just 4 Phillips head screws in the back. And what you do is you slide the stepper motor out, and there are different set pins in there. And what you want to do is you want to physically pull out or push in the pin so that it's about an eighth of an inch from the shoulder. And what that does is, I don't know if you can see it in there, but that pin right down in there is what they're talking about. There's some good pictures online. You can see what it is, but you'll see where the shoulder is on it. And an easy way to measure and gauge it out for yourself is took a small flat blade screwdriver, put it against a yardstick, found one that the blade was an eighth of an inch wide, and used that to gauge the inside there, set it, and it's good to go. Once you got it set and screwed back together, double check and make sure your settings are good. What I found easiest for me, honestly, is I removed the carb. It's 4 7/16 nuts. Disconnect a couple things, and the thing lifts right off. Took it off, cleaned it up, and then got everything set the way I wanted. Just took my time. So, like I said, I took about 2 hours, but it's because I removed stuff like that and then put everything back on. Then from there, what you want to do is you need to time it. And what you want to do with the timing, see if we can see those gears, if I gotta get additional light. You can kind of see the gears. Let's see if I get more light. There we go. Okay, you'll see the little notches there. Now, each notch is 2 degrees, but it starts out at -2, goes to 0, 2, 4, 6, and 8. You want 8 degrees top dead center for your timing mark. This factory, I believe, is at 6 degrees. You just want an additional 2 degrees. With everything that's done of removing emissions control, the control of the computer to adjust the carburetor. Now, you made the carburetor just a straight 2-barrel carburetor. This thing runs a million times better. I've taken it out around the block just to see how it would do. I used to have some spitting and sputtering problems at the high RPMs. Nothing is there. It's been starting a lot easier, and it actually sounds pretty good. Fire over here, see if we get her in a single crank or if she takes 2. Got her in a single crank. You can hear her. I mean, she's just, it's running smooth, it's running good. It's the best this thing's run. It's an 88 Jeep, but I will say that I bought the Jeep and it had a replacement Jasper motor in it, and from what I can tell from Jasper is, I believe it's still under warranty. I'm not sure if this motor has 10,000 miles on it yet or not. But, I mean, it runs so much better from the day that I bought it. I've been working on this thing non-stop. One final thing that I want to point out and show to you guys that might be having some problems is the manual choke. These things come with an electronic choke. Was having problems. The guy I bought it from had to use ether every time he started it, which is not good for it, but the guy was doing it anyways. So I came home, I tore off the electric choke, put a manual choke in there, solved all the starting problems because I could choke it from inside the cab. Well, the one thing, and I thought I did a good job, but I didn't do a good enough job, is taping up the old choke wires and tucking them off to the side. One of the wires actually came loose or from rubbing against the head bolt, arced, and I had a meltdown inside the harness, wires. I basically had to tear apart the wiring harness, cut everything out that had melted, traced everything, got rid of every wire that had to do with the electronic choke, and gutted it. Big difference. I could have done this. I could have avoided all that if I would have just taken more time and taped up all the wires coming from that electronic choke. It would have made life a lot better. Conduit's cheap, and electrical tape is even cheaper. So, you can really tape it up and no one will ever see it again. The other thing that I ended up doing from the meltdown is there's a sensor on the engine block over here. I think you can kind of see it. You can see that little bit of white and then the sensor sticking out over there. That's a block sensor. That's not your temperature sensor. That's actually a sensor for the computer to control the choke, so when the motor is warm or cold. I cut the wires there, cut the wires coming over to the side of the fuse boxes over here and the relays, and got it all cleaned up like that. Runs good. The worst thing that Chrysler or AMC ever did was they tried to do the emission stuff. Thank you, California. Strip all that off there and just get a normal, good old straight 6-cylinder motor with a regular 2-barrel carb, and she runs great. You'll see your fuel mileage go up. You'll see it run smoother. No more rough idling at stop signs or taking off the spitting and sputtering. These things are kind of known for. Everything seems to be good and running good. As I get other projects done and going on it, I will take the time to film them, throw them up on YouTube. Hopefully it helps a couple of you guys out. Jeep forums are great. That's where I found a lot of the stuff to actually fix this. There's not a lot of videos on YouTube for the nutter on the Jeep. I saw one for an AMC. So hopefully this helps some of you guys out, and good luck.